Did you know that the body of a Catholic saint has remained incorrupt for nearly 500 years, right here in India? A man whose heart burned so fiercely for God that he crossed oceans, braved storms, and gave his life so that the gospel could be preached in the East. This is the story of how Christianity began in Goa, a story of royal ambition, divine providence, and miraculous grace. From the arrival of the Portuguese conquerors to the breathtaking miracles of St. Francis Xavier, Goa became more than just a colony. It became a beacon of faith in Asia. So stay with me till the end, because today we're not just revisiting history. We're uncovering how God worked through empires and missionaries to plant seeds of faith that continue to grow even today. And by the end of this video, you'll discover how the same God who worked wonders in 16th century Goa still works miracles in the hearts of believers today. It was the year 1510. The Arabian Sea shimmered with sunlight as Portuguese ships approached the golden shores of Goa. Led by Afonso de Albuquerque, the Portuguese captured the territory from the Muslim Bahmani rulers. But their mission was not just political, it was spiritual. See, the Portuguese Empire carried with it a sacred responsibility known as the Padroado, a system granted by the Pope. Under this agreement, the Portuguese crown was tasked with spreading the gospel wherever it went. Their flag bore not only the cross of their nation, but the cross of Christ. As Jesus commanded in Matthew 28:19, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations." For the Portuguese, these words weren't just scripture, they were a royal commission. Soon, churches began to rise where temples once stood. Bells rang where battle cries once echoed. The gospel began to take root, though the soil was still rocky and the hearts of many were cautious. Because Goa was not just any land, it was a mosaic of beliefs, Hinduism, Islam, and local traditions. The early missionaries faced opposition, misunderstanding, and sometimes persecution. But through their perseverance, small sparks of faith began to flicker. And then, God sent a man who would ignite that spark into a flame that would light the entire East. Number 2, the arrival of St. Francis Xavier, the Apostle of the Indies. In 1542, a young Jesuit priest arrived on the shores of Goa. His name was Francis Xavier. He was not a conqueror or a nobleman. He was a missionary, a man of deep humility and burning zeal. Born in Spain, he studied in Paris, where he met St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. When Ignatius said, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" Francis's heart was set ablaze. He left everything behind, wealth, comfort, prestige, and sailed to the unknown East. Think of it like this. Imagine someone today leaving behind their phone, home, and family, stepping into a foreign land with nothing but a Bible and faith. That was Francis Xavier. When he reached Goa, he saw a society torn between faith and culture, devotion and superstition. But he didn't come with judgment. He came with love. He lived among the poor, ate their food, learned their languages. He taught catechism to children, preached the gospel in villages, and baptized thousands. Historical records describe him as tireless, walking miles under the blazing sun, ringing a small bell to gather children for prayer. "I am so tired," he once wrote, "that I can hardly speak, but I am filled with joy, for these souls are hungry for Christ." He didn't preach with words alone. His very life became the sermon. And soon, something extraordinary began to happen. People from all walks of life, fishermen, farmers, soldiers, came to hear him speak. faith began to spread like wildfire. But Francis's mission was far from over, because God had even greater plans for him, and miracles the world still speaks of today. In 1552, after years of missionary work across India, Malaysia and Japan, St. Francis Xavier set sail for China, a dream he carried to bring Christ to its people. But he never made it. He fell ill on a small island called Shangchuan, off the coast of China. Alone, with only a few faithful followers by his side, he whispered his final prayer.
In thee, O Lord, have I hoped, let me never be confounded.
He died at the age of 46. His body was buried in quicklime, a substance that normally causes rapid decay. But when they opened the grave weeks later, what they saw left them speechless. His body was perfectly preserved, his skin was intact, his face serene, as though he were asleep. When the body was brought back to Goa in 1553, thousands came to witness the miracle. Even the skeptical could not deny what they saw, a lifelike, incorrupt body that showed no signs of decomposition. Psalm 16:10 says, "You will not let your Holy One see decay." And in Francis Xavier's body, many saw a reflection of that divine promise, a visible sign of holiness that time could not touch. For over 4 centuries, his body has remained in the Basilica of Bom Jesus, in Old Goa, enshrined in silver, drawing millions from around the world. Even today, scientists and believers alike marvel at the mystery. Some pilgrims report healing. Others describe a deep supernatural peace in his presence. Hindus, Muslims and Christians all come because grace knows no religion. But beyond the incorrupt body lies a greater miracle, a message for us living today. The story of Goa is not just history. It's a mirror reflecting what faith can do. When the Portuguese came, they brought crosses and crowns. But when Francis Xavier came, he brought Christ himself, humility, compassion and truth. And that's what converted hearts. Faith isn't spread by force. It's spread by love. It's not by argument, but by example. As Jesus said in John 20:21, "As the Father has sent me, I also send you." Like the missionaries, each of us is called to carry Christ wherever we go. Not across oceans, but across daily life. To your family, your workplace, your circle of friends. Maybe you can't preach in villages, but you can share kindness, forgiveness and prayer. And just as St. Francis Xavier's body remains incorrupt, your faith too can remain untouched by the decay of this world, if it's rooted in love. But what became of the faith he planted? Let's see what Goa looks like today. Number 5, Goa. Today, faith that endures. 500 years later, Goa remains one of the strongest Christian communities in India. Its skyline is dotted with majestic churches. The Sea Cathedral, St. Cayetan, Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception, and of course the Basilica of Bom Jesus. These are not ruins of colonial history. They are living monuments of faith, where prayers still rise, candles still burn, and choirs still sing. Goan festivals like the Feast of St. Francis Xavier attract thousands each year. Pilgrims walk miles to honour the saint whose body lies in their land. And the spirit of service and joy that Francis Xavier taught is alive in Goan communities, in their hospitality, their songs, and their devotion. Even as the world changes, faith in Goa continues to endure. And maybe, just maybe, that's the greatest miracle of all. Not an incorrupt body, but a faith that refuses to die. We've journeyed through history today, from the Portuguese conquest to the holy mission of St. Francis Xavier, from colonial struggles to divine miracles. And what we've seen is this: When God decides to plant faith, no empire, no culture, no boundary can stop him. Maybe your faith feels weak today. Maybe you feel like the world around you is too dark, too divided, too broken. But remember, if a single man with a heart on fire could light up a continent, then God can do the same through you. You don't need to be a missionary or a saint, you just need to say yes, the same way Francis Xavier did. Lord, I am yours, send me. The story of Goa reminds us, empires fall, languages fade, but faith endures. Because the love of Christ is not bound by time or geography. It's alive wherever hearts believe. May God bless you with the courage of St. Francis Xavier, the faith of the early missionaries, and the hope that never dies. Keep your heart burning for Christ and your soul anchored in his love. Because you too are part of this great story, the story of how God continues to write salvation across history. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Tell me in the comments, have you ever visited Goa or seen the relics of St. Francis Xavier? What did that experience mean to you? And if you're new here, subscribe for more powerful stories of faith, miracles, and Catholic history that will deepen your love for God. Until next time, may the peace of Christ be with you always.